How's it going, Fish Fam? So, I learned that on the internet, kids these days, they're putting face tattoos on. And so, I was thinking, like, fish aren't naturally a real hip subject. So, I wanted to make them cooler and put a bunch of face tattoos on. So basically, today I'm gonna go by the name Lil Fish because I'm a small uh, fish, and I wanted to show how hardcore I am, uh, and basically, 50% water change gang is who I'm repping, and I still love Jesus, so I put a cross on my chin and Endler for life because you don't want to contaminate the gene pool. You never mix bros and Endlers and guppies. And money because I raise shrimp for profit. And then hashtag fish fam. And then a fish. And it's like, yeah. All right, guys. So how's it going? Um, Today I just wanted to kind of have fun. I wanted to read you guys off some of the crazy. So before I do this, I'm not trying to uh, belittle the people who have asked these questions because yeah, I know I want to wash my face. It's annoying. And I think I might right now, but we're gonna keep talking because this is live. I'm not gonna take a break from this. Had a pregnant guppy and she looked like she was gonna pop any day. Then she died. No other deaths. Why? That's hard to say. I would say that probably she just had a hard time with pregnancy. It's really stressful on fish. And next time, if you can way early in the pregnancy, you can move them on their own. But sometimes moving them to their own area before they actually, like, if you move them like the day that they're starting to give birth, then it actually can be a really big problem. Because the water parameters can change, or if you put them in a little pen and they're not happy or whatever. And so I've had some die that way. I mean, I used to move over pregnant females a lot, but now I don't. Now I just leave them where they're at and scoop the baby fish out if I need to move them somewhere else or her somewhere else after the fact. But I always make sure to feed them live food while she's giving birth. And also, that keeps the other fish full. And yeah, so guppy genetics in many cases are whack too. Some are very hardy, some aren't. Yeah, some guppies are not really designed to give birth. I know that sounds ridiculous, but they're not. They're not designed to give birth, and their birthing canals and things like that are not of the proper size. So that can be an issue. Alright, I hope this marker comes off. Let's see. This is the one that's ridiculous. I don't know if you guys know what this is a reference to if you're not like 15 or something, but apparently there's a guy named what's his name? Takashi 69, that's his name. And there's another guy named Little Xan, like Little Xanax, and they both have all these face tattoos and kind of rap, but they don't. I don't know. They don't really rap. It's kind of just like mumbling. A little pump also. Yeah. See, so somebody knows what I'm talking about. And basically, they just get on and talk, smack talk to each other, and celebrate taking Xanax and drugs, which is nothing new. The beats just are not. Some of them are catchy, I guess, but to date myself, not romantically, but to date myself, I would have to say that the beats are usually okay. They're pretty simple. They don't take a whole lot of skill, but a lot of pop music, that's the case. But I I would also say that the lyrics are kind of next level compared to hip hop has always been, or not always, but it's usually been, or there's been groups of people who are challenging authority and swearing and, demeaning women or lifting up women if it's like social conscious stuff. But right now, like, there's that girl from the Dr. Phil show. What's her name? I don't even want to give her the time of day, but I think her name's like Bad Baby or something like that, spelled all screwed up. So pretty much the what you have to do is you have to spell your name wrong, and you have to rap about money, women, even if you're a girl, and yeah, I don't watch Dr. Phil. Dr. Phil is a sick man. I'm sorry if you like Dr. Phil, but he totally takes advantage of people who are in a hard spot, or it's fake. In either way, yeah, cash me outside. See, everybody in the stream knows what I'm talking about, I guess. So I was behind. I haven't had cable. I know that's on YouTube. I mean, there's like 400 million views on some of this stuff, but I don't know. I just thought that would be a little bit. How about that? Yeah. See, everyone's commenting in the stream. Okay. I wasn't sure if like how mainstream all this stuff was. If I was going to be coming off as like, what is he doing with all that stupid crap on his face? Whatever. How about that? Fish me outside. So today, it's a real free flow session. I want to talk about some of the random things. Sorry, I'm pacing a lot. But I want to talk about some of the random things. Yes, that girl is very annoying. I was praying you were washing your face. Yes, I was. I didn't use any soap or anything, and I'll wash it more later, but I don't want it to... It breaks out really easily because of my allergies and my skin condition, so like rubbing really hard is going to cause that, and soap it actually irritates it. So it's kind of dumb to do, but I hope somebody giggled a little bit. I did, so it was worth it to me. But yeah, so this is kind of a free form video, and I mean, not that a lot have it been, but I want any of you guys to feel free to chime in, ask questions. And then also, hey, what's up, D Smith? Lots of people are coming in. I like this. I like that people are enjoying a Saturday. Maybe we'll set Saturday as the time. I think 2 Saturdays ago, I also did a stream on Saturday, and a lot of people were able to get in, so that's always good. A lot of people around the world have like conflicting time schedules, and maybe on the weekend it makes it easier. Thank you, Betsy. You want to do a like spike in like 3 seconds? No, 5 seconds. Let's give people time. So I'll count down, and then I want to see the likes go up. So, okay, oh, Betsy's going with 3. Okay, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Like. Let's see if that works. It's quiet now. Oh, there it goes. It's starting to go. I know it's kind of hard in a lot of browsers to hit like because you have to like scroll down, turn the chat off, and then click out of it or whatever. Oh, there it goes. It's going up. Oh my goodness. It's a Christmas miracle. But yeah, thanks guys for that. Really, it was small, but it meant a lot to me. Debbie Clayton, I see you. I know you're a lurker. I see you around, and welcome. I want you to feel like you can ask any questions. And as I was saying, I wanted to start off this. So you saw the title of the stream first off, and I guess you don't need to see my face right now. I'll just keep chatting, and we're going to look at fish in the tanks so you guys can see what's new this weekend. And basically, I'll just kind of walk you around. We'll chat. If there's something that catches your guys' attention, you let me know. But I'm just going to philosophize. And if you guys have stories or thoughts, please, let's be participative today. I really enjoy that. So, Also, on another note, I think that Bentley Pasco, who watches the channel, he's a big active dude in the community. I think he might be doing his own channels, or at least some sort of video a little more intensely in the future. I don't want to like make him now feel obligated to, but that would be rad. And he's picking up some cool fish today and might be using my truck. Unfortunately, I have to go out to dinner with my wife and our friend who has cancer, which is, it's sad, but it's also kind of like, well, I really want to go out to dinner with her and catch up. And then my wife was in an accident. Somebody rear-ended her at 40 miles an hour. Didn't have insurance. Lied about his info. By the way, check out this lily. So these Siamese algae eaters are my biggest fish right now, and they are probably let's see, they're longer than my pinky. So they're pretty good sized fish. And this this is a Nymphaea micrantha purple / red plant. I love it when all the little catfish sit on it. But yeah, so this is the lily that LR Bretts and also Lucas, that is, and Betsy want. And so I'm working on cultivating them. So this tank, this is the maybe second or third day that I've had CO2 running on it for 4 hours. I'm trying it out. It grows algae quickly. This tank is so perfectly balanced for growing plants with the light and everything that I don't like messing with it, but I'm trying out for 4 hours. I moved the CO2 tank and we're running CO2 through it. Here you can see the cribs. They've made it, and I've kind of just forgot about these. These are Pulcher, so they're Pelvica chromis Pulcher instead of Teneatus. And they have a cave system that I built them that's like back in this tunnel area, and it gets narrower, and there's some bio balls and stuff like that, bio rings in there. But there's a couple ledges that they can chill in. Okay, so this CO2 tank is only a 2.5 pound tank, and right now I'm only running it at a little over a bubble a second, and that means that coming out, you can see the speed. I don't have it high tech set up through like a diffuser that incorporates it into the water like an inline one. This one just works rising up, and it's a Fluval. Why did I place bioballs in the cave system? Basically because I had shrimp in this tank until I put those cribs in this tank. And so these cribs here ate most of the shrimp, but there's a couple shrimp left. But the bio stuff, it's just more, it's kind of hidden unless you're looking for it. And it's just more area for beneficial bacteria other than the oversized hang off the back that's filled. And Soggy Pits, awesome. Glad to hear that you are listening while driving. Please drive safe. But these algae eaters, I love them. Don't go away, Heather. We could have a ton of fun with this men versus women thing. Yeah, don't go away, anybody. I'm happy that you're here. Please speak up. If you think I'm a big dummy, you can tell me that. I am always open for conversation and spirited debate. I just want evidence or, yeah, like talking points for why you think I'm a big dummy. But yeah, so this plant's doing really well. And those bio rings were just to grow algae and to be another biochemical filter, the chemical not being existent, but it's just more surface area for more good bacteria, and that just keeps things in check. It allows them to process the ammonia and the nitrites easily, and then that way I can add liquid ferts at a higher rate. So I add liquid ferts to this tank. This is a few days into giving it CO2 for like, I'm saying 3 or 4 hours a day is what I've been giving it, but I already see algae growing, and so I think I'm going to stop. But this lily has gone insane, and if you look, there's like nothing to the root system. By the way, the nearite snails, I guess, are frisky. And since I put the CO2 in, they've been laying their eggs everywhere. But this lily really has not formed a new bulb. It's just growing out of nothing. Yeah, that Dr. Pepper actually, long story, but I spilled water down the side of the tank this morning with the top open, and the tank was filled too high and it sloshed over the edge, and literally fish tank water went into the Dr. Pepper, and I just totally forgot about it because it's kind of out of sight, out of mind from every angle except right next to the fish tank. Okay, here comes a question. So I'll stop with explaining the lily. But I just wanted to say that I got the lily about yay big. This has grown, and I took pictures. It's grown from this height to this height, and also, I think you can see it. Yes, there's another pad up here that has grown this tall. And here's that why this is a rare one. So normally these lilies are pretty, and they have this marbled look, and they're kind of like a light pink translucent. This one actually has up to a red or extreme purple coloration, and it has to be propagated through the material breaking. It doesn't, the blue and purple flowers that form at the surface, like a lotus type blossom, it doesn't actually, it's not fertile because this is a mutant strain that's darker. But I want to answer one more question before I get into other stuff, and I need to build a new top for this tank. But these lights, I love them, although they do get hot, and I am worried that my house will burn down one day. But they are Cree by GoSun, so CREE LEDs, and GoSun is the brand, GOSUN. They're, I think, out of Hong Kong or China proper. And basically, they are 30 watts a pop, and they're spotlights. And so this is daylight. You can see the sun's coming in. It's an overcast day. You can see the wall here. Well, when I shine the light on it, it casts shadows across the room. So it's a very, 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 very intense light, and it causes these plants to grow an inch a day or more easily. This guy, I don't know why it's going crazy. I wish I could tell you what I did to do that. The other thing that's going nuts, I did put in a power head. Other thing that's going nuts is the nausea weed, or guppy grass as it's known. It has gone absolutely insane since I added the power head. So that and the Siswasertang, yes, won't happen unless you get paper on them with those heat sinks. Oh yeah, yeah. These heat sinks, basically, like, they're too hot to want to touch for very long, and they are supposedly waterproof. I doubt it. I'd say water resistant at best. I would not throw water on them if I could help it. But my guess is they would short out rather than like spark a fire. But they do get hot, and they were cheap. They were like $25 a piece. Okay, so I wanted to answer a question from Debbie. Do you think that I would have more luck breeding a Pristogramma cockatoides or cribs like yours? My water is pH of 7.6 and GH of 13. Well, I think your water's fine for cribs. I might lower it a little bit if you can, add some leaf tree. Oh, by the way, my blue seam pleco that always hides, and right now it doesn't look blue because it's got a UV T5 light on it. Let's see if we can sneak around this side. So it has spots, and it's a long fin, and it's got blue dots, and then the actual fish, maybe you can see it from up. Yeah, this might be better. Let's see. You can kind of see the blue in the margins here, but the light kind of is throwing things off. But yeah, so kind of a fun fish. When it swims and it's like in full exposure mode, it's really pretty. So I'm trying to get it a mate. Oh, it's gonna show off for you guys. Where'd it go? So it's got its fins up right now. Oh, behind a leaf. In any case, so yeah, I like that pleco a lot, and now it's hiding back in here. So I also like this toe, the autosynclus, that's zebra or marbled, whatever you want to call it. In this tank, I added a couple reserve CPDs and some white cloud meteor minnows, but they're very red. This strain, like, they're really pretty. They look very red, and they have green, yellow on the tip of their fins. And they're real quick as always. But I wanted to add something, and this guy seems to be a little more, like, matey, or showing his colors now that there's more critters in the tank with him. So that's good. I'm hoping this is my boy. This is my Endler from Lucas Brett's. This is the best quality rainbow Endler with a spade tail that's blue, like I requested, that he has because I'm doing work for him. And I mean, so I'm hoping that he impregnates these females. They look kind of pregnant, but it's been a while, and they had males in here before, but I put some young ones in, like this one. And so for sure, they're not pregnant with anybody except for his, if they have any. But he has not produced any yet, and it's been a month now since I got them. So the reason there's so many single people in the fish freaks and crazy cat ladies have conflicting interests. Beat up Vance, I think you're right, man. But I did want to... Oh, and here's another lily, by the way. Same type of lily. I took a cutting. Versus here is a red tiger lily. This is like a super red, as they're called, or blood red. Red water wizard. You can put a space after the @ sign. It won't light up my name. Blah blah blah. You guys are talking. I like that. Hey, water wizard. By the way. So yeah, this tank. I cut everything way back down height wise. So now we've got a lot of shorter plants, which I am digging. I'm trying to figure out what that white thing is. I think it's a dead snail. But everything's a lot shorter. And for some reason, all the snails in this corner are dead. There's like 6 of them. And there's lots of live snails hanging out in this tank at night especially. They're everywhere. But the dead ones come over here to die. So I'll have to figure that out. Odd. But also, so in this tank, I put in Lucas Brett's Gold Line Sakura Yellows. And basically, we have probably 5 left for sure that I've counted at once. But I'm assuming they're in there somewhere. Like, you know how shrimp are. So... Well, let's go to the tank that I changed all around. Also, yeah, I like that you guys are talking about the title. And that is kind of like I wanted folks to talk amongst yourselves. But I'll talk about it too in a bit. Here's some other plecos. These guys are borrow plecos, as in I am borrowing them. Let's see. Live stream. I need to get a camera that works better with live stream. This is a great camera, but in live stream mode, all I can do is kind of adjust focus, and that's about it. But these are just 2 calico plecos, and they're just in here eating. And we've got some pink ram's horns. I just like watching them eat too. They're like little Pac-Man. So in this tank, we have some Endlers that are growing out that are from my leopard Endler colony, which are based off of the tiger Endlers that Lucas Brett's raised. These ones have white or blue rims around their spade-shaped tail, and then a black line around that. And don't buy more snails, Alex. I'll send you some of my mysteries. Okay. I'm into that. Randy May. I'm obsessed with fish and amphibians, other small animals, but my husband, I don't know why I said hubby, shows zero interest. I mean, there are definitely exceptions to the rule, but I'm gonna sit down and talk with y'all. We'll get real, and I'll tell you my opinion on that a little farther into the cast. Also, so there's still a few um, endlers in here that were growing out. I didn't know if they were male or female, and so I set them in here. There's also a couple wild style endlers, all endlers in here. And then there are, which I wasn't sure how it would work. This one's like so egg laden that it's not even funny. Like, not that these are funny fish, but these are meteor minnows also. And she's so ready to lay her eggs, as is this one. And I'm wondering if I got all females because I've just stayed full of eggs. And there's two other ones in this tank, but they all look swolled, like they've been at the gym just for their tummy. Um, but yeah, so I filled up this tank with 22 endlers or not endlers, sorry guys, CPDs and erythromicron. So the CPDs, the celestial pearl danios, I did a really thorough video on these animals, and talked about them coming all from the same area. They're all cyprinids, except for the endlers in this tank, and so they're basically like a carp type fish. They have similar biological evolutionary issues. I don't know, features. Let's go with features. And they're all kind of small versions of the cyprinids. So that's kind of, these are all Myanmar slash Southeast Asian, Thai, and very southern Chinese fish in this tank, other than the endlers. And it used to be an arch, but then I was like, hey, you know what? I have all this CO2 hooked up, and I have aqua soil, which is expensive and puts off a lot of ammonia and stuff. And you know what? Like, why don't I clear out more space? I can always rebuild the arch, but that and the stone just grows algae like there's no tomorrow. But the algae on the rest of the plants is subsiding, which is nice. And I've made lots of hiding spots for these little fish. The goal here is, without creating a breeding uh, a breeding colony kind of thing, I just want a natural tank, but I want to make it dense enough. So I want enough tangles and stuff of weeds down low, down in here and under here. Like, this is really thick. They're not going to make it through here when they try to swim. But I want them to lay eggs that fall into this, and then maybe the fish are swimming at this level. So what I'm doing at this point is I'm trimming all the time. And so if you look, it kind of looks like a wasteland. Uh, but I'm trimming off at different points, and I'm trying to trim. Here's a good example. I'm trying to trim here, so there's actually 4 branch points about an inch off the ground there. And so every time you trim, you're going to get a split with certain plants. And so I trim, and then those splits grow out, and I cut each of those splits really close to the first split. And you can get really bushy plants that way and take up less of a footprint on the ground. Also, I've got booths and giant moss, what is it, giant willow moss growing in between the cracks. But algae is setting in, and so was the CPD mix viable? Wait, let me read a little bit. I once bred a CPD with the dwarf emerald or a hybrid. Yeah, I have one in here. I got it from the pet store, from Aquariums, and I'm buddies with the owner. And oh, by the way, I know I mentioned it to a couple of you, or maybe really quickly during a live cast as a possibility, but it's a reality now, and I am able now to get I'm so excited, an emerald No, not emerald. Ninja woodcat. So those are the ones that look like little orcas, and they're found in Peru usually in the Amazon. And I'm really excited. So they are just kind of getting imported into the U.S. more commonly all of a sudden, and I'm really excited. So Steve, aquariums and fish store owner, who also he hooked me up with the glass and the streamline light and the aqua soil for that tank. Just to mention his store, and also just because he's a nice guy, and he's like, you'll buy more fish and do this for your channel if I give you a tank. So, and they don't sell online, so it's kind of interesting. But yes, the hybrids can be viable. Usually they're not. But they can be viable. And so some people get very upset and they're like, do not mix emerald dwarf. There's so many names to them. Dwarf emerald rasboras, or zebra stripe rasboras, or purple zebra rasboras, or miniature zebra rasboras. I guess different countries call them all sorts of things. But yeah, I'm going to open this window really quick here, just because this room is getting hot. Our house is made out of the dumbest materials ever. It's got a black sheet metal roof and siding. You can see my fingers, my Lil Fish fingers, my fish fingers. Okay, so I want to show you guys another project. So this is a mess. This is the first time I'd ever done this, but I siliconed. I got this 20 long for $10 flat, and it's real old. It's like 10 or 15 years old probably, and this stuff is not coming off with Goo Gone, with alcohol, with ammonia. I've tried a lot of different things on it, and it's just cracked. And it's like all the paper's gone off of it now, but it's just like melded onto the glass like none other. I've tried the straight razor scraper. So I got to think about that, how to get that off a little bit better. Hey, what's up, Waterbox? How's it going, man? Good to see you in here. So you can see here, I had a very good bead going for some of this, and then the tip of this thing, so the silicone Aqueon silicone sealant, it got clogged. So then I cut it again, and then I had a bigger bead. So down here the bead gets bigger, and then all of a sudden, I got this piece done. It was lined up and straight, and it was all good. And then I set things up against it, boxes of stuff up against it, and tried to get it to set in, and I did one side at a time. And don't get me wrong, it's in here good, but it just looks really janky, which is kind of okay, because I don't know if I'm going to get this off. I might just paint it. Secret history, tell me how we can get more women into the hobby. You know, I think that, like, I've seen a lot of betta and snail enthusiasts in the women in the hobby. Also, I've seen a lot of women who like angelfish. This is totally stereotyping. I've seen women who are just like hardcore into licorice gouramis too, or whatever. But yeah, fancy goldfish too. And I think that, like, one, catering to the things that interest women, that's great. I have to say, show them abs. Oh boy. Did you see my my fish face tattoos? I actually washed most of them off water box, but I was gonna try to trend like the rappers do. And so I have 50% water change gang, and shrimp for profit, and fish fam. I mean, like, probably half of them I'll probably get for real. So, you know, like, it was a little overkill. Small note that means nothing to stream. Gotta pick up covered. Oh, okay, Bentley. Well, I'm glad you got that covered, man. My hope is tomorrow to go down and film with Bentley's house. Today, my wife and I are gonna go meet our friend who is unfortunately suffering. She's got 2 kids and she's suffering with cancer. Luckily, she's got a husband who's great and good double insurance, but it's always so hard to see that. She's 32 and she's got, is it 2 or 3 kids? I think it's 3 now. Yeah, and she's got it, so that's really sad. But in any case, in this tank, I just thought I'd show you real quick. It's a total mess, so don't judge me yet. You can judge me later. Well, you can judge me now, but whatever. Um, yeah, Bentley, I'm always happy to talk to you and see you. Hopefully, Bentley and I will be filming tomorrow. It's always me who doesn't have their ish together. Bentley is a great guy, and he's got quite the rainbow fish collection. He's going to get some awesome fish right now, or this evening, I should say. I wanted to help him, but we're going to dinner. I told him he could use my truck. And that goes for, like, I'm pretty open. Like, if you will sign or just agree, whatever, that if you crash my truck, your insurance will cover it or whatever, and you have a driver's license, you can borrow my truck in this area if you're unloading aquarium stuff or need help with that. I have a hard time lifting stuff because of my back and everything, but and my lupus. But other than that, I totally know what it's like to have like a friggin' hatchback Civic or something, and you need to get like a 150-gallon aquarium somewhere. But that's why I have all, other than the 40-gallon, all my tanks are teeny now. Mark Parrish, welcome. Come on in. There's quite a few people in here. Okay, I came in like, what the hell are you doing to that tank? Okay, so this was a 20-gallon long. Our club had a member who passed away a while ago. He had, like, no joke, 50 tanks that he had never touched. They were like $1 a gallon sale tanks, and so the club sold them all for 50 cents a gallon. And we ended up putting or buying some. I could have bought a lot more. I wish I did, but I value living in period, but in this house too with my wife, and so I got one. But one wasn't enough. No, no, indeed. So I ended up getting needlepoint mesh from Joann's. So it was like, I don't know, $1.99 a sheet that was bigger than these sheets. And then for $10, I got silicone sealant. So we're at $22 or so. And I sealed it in. It looks like terrible on this side because the tip of the sealant container didn't work, and the edges started to seal as I was using it because yesterday it was raining and really humid, and it actually like came out like it was pressurized when finally it gave way, and it just went and squirted all. It was bad, but this stuff all comes off. It's just silicone, so it doesn't stick to anything. And Alex, that's wrong is 2 left shoes. I agree, Bob. This looks janky, but it's holding in place. Like it's in there good, and for having no edge to work with, that's fine. I never trust. I should have got a caulking gun. Don't get rid of my video, YouTube. I know what you do. And sealed it that way. Also, I got home and I was like, oh, it's black. Well, whatever. But my plan is to take, let's see if I have one handy. I'll probably take this hang off the back right here, which is for a 40-gallon. And I'll take that. It's not running anyways. I'll take that, put it in the center. And then I've got a bunch of these guys. If you can see that filter back there. This one too is, right now this tank is in disarray, but these guys right here. Here's my vinegar eels. I am not hoarding urine, I swear. I'm just seeing if they're alive. It got kind of warm in here. Yep, they're good. Look at them go. Yeah, but I think I'm going to take 2 of these because I got a, like, I don't know. They were really cheap. They're like 5 for $20 somewhere on Amazon or eBay. So I'll put one of those maybe here and here, or back here, probably back here actually, and then hang off the back here. And so that'll aerate everything, plus the water will move around. Then in the middle chamber, I'll have just another chamber for endlers or cribs that are breeding, maybe even for a pleco couple or something like that. The middle chamber is measured out to be 10 gallons, give or take. Probably it's more closer to 11 actually. And then this one is a 6-gallon, 6.5-gallon chamber, and this is a about a 4-gallon chamber here. So give or take. I know those numbers don't perfectly add up, but the plan is that I can't reach this rack super easily anyways, and so I'm gonna put them up here, and instead, this little tank that was here got just inundated with hydra and other planaria, and so I poured boiled water in it, and the like worms in there like have mummified, which is kind of weird. Like not completely boiling. I don't want to break the glass, but yeah. But I haven't seen any since, and maybe that fixed the problem. I don't know. I'll put some food in here soon, and we'll see. Of course, out of nowhere, I don't have it even to my knowledge. We've got duckweed growing, because why wouldn't there be duckweed growing in the tank that's evil? And then I also took some of that substrate that I had boiled, and it's just inactive clay and minerals. But basically, I took that substrate, and I don't know how they got their cotton. This must have floated up or something. This is just more surface area for algae to grow and beneficial bacteria. But in here, I took a Tupperware container, and I put it up in there. And let's see. So the pH had jumped up in this tank to, and this is where some of my crystals are. It's the daytime and there's natural light on them, and they really hide during that time. It's a lot cheaper to keep a bunch of fish than a bunch of women. Yeah, that's true. I have a theory, and I'm going to share it real soon. But let me show you this real quick. So I've got this pH tester. It tends to run high by 1 to 2, like 6.2. It's the point. So it's like 6.4. They'll say 6.4, and it's really 6.2. I've kind of had to recalibrate it a few times. So, but in here, it always starts really high at 8.6 because that's where it was calibrated from originally. And it doesn't work unless you shake it like a Polaroid picture. But in this tank, which is getting mad evaporation because of how hot it's been in this room. Right now, this room is 84 degrees, and it's like 60 something in Seattle. It's ridiculous. And you're right. Cheaper to keep a bunch of fish than a lot of men. Yeah, that works both ways, definitely, for men and women. Fish are cheaper than significant others. All right, so it looks like my reader is going to go down to like 7.1 something. And in this little tank, it should be similar, 7.0. So then take 0.2 off of that. I'm aiming for 6.8, and so we're close. And it's a little higher than that, but there are neocaridina and crystal. I thought that I would share with you in this tank. Algae is growing quickly. Snails are growing really quickly, which I need to like. I just cleaned it like 2 days ago. But they seem happy. They seem to be growing. The caridina have not been breeding that I've seen. But the secret... hey, JH! Welcome! I was hoping you'd join in on the fun. You'll have to go back and watch the beginning of this video. You may appreciate what I was trying to do with Fish Fam News to take us to the next level, go viral, if you will. But in this tank, The yellow sakuras, if you can make them out, the babies are there. And also the reds, there's babies all over. And these are all Neocaridina. Also, I have purple pond snails, which is kind of cool. Like all of them are kind of gray, but these ones are purpley. This is the Devon tank, as it is called, and it has spots that are movable. But I'm not. I was gonna plant it like more heavily, but now I've got all these pregnant shrimp in here, and I'm like, well, I want to break what's working, so I'm just letting it be. Let me read a couple of these things. I need sugar mama. I can call Bay. So I, my wife is kind of my sugar mama. She makes like 5 times what I've made as an artist ever, which isn't hard to do. That means she made $25 last year. No, I'm just kidding. But no, she makes good money, 9 to 5. She's the breadwinner, and I make sporadic money. Like sometimes I'll get a job and I'll do a mural and I'll have enough money to live for like 3 months, and then other times I'm like scraping by barely. So, yeah, but I'm gonna be backing off feeding this tank a bit because the snails are starting to come out, and when the snails come out, you know you've gone and done it. Also, side note, the gold bee shrimp in here have gotten huge, so that's kind of cool. And I would swear that they're shrinking my blue shrimp from Lucas Brett's. I'm sure they're not, but like they look smaller to me. Uh, and I don't know where. Oh, there's one right there. But there are 3 pregnant females of the blue dream, which is the purest blue line in the world, according to Lucas Bretz, and I don't doubt him. So we'll see how those go. They'll be popping out soon, and because of that, I should do a gravel vac like the last one. And when you gravel vac a shrimp tank, you kind of just puff, like squeeze the bulb on the gravel vac, and let it go poof up, and then just suck that air up or suck the debris up rather than putting it straight onto the substrate. And then you can use like a pantyhose or something. Now she's going to give birth soon because she's running out of space. She's been curling her tail, and that means that she wants a new exoskeleton. But with that many babies, you see how pregnant she is. She can't get an exoskeleton while pregnant. Like, she can't get rid of the other one. She'd be too vulnerable. So she's probably, and I hope it doesn't kill them, but she's getting constricted in there. And when they start doing the bends where they bend into like a U shape, then you know that they're uncomfortable. They want to stretch into a new shape. So let me catch up on some stuff. Water box. That is smart. No hassle. Add new tank. Don't upset. I don't bring fry up in the pan. Sorry guys, I'm just catching up on what everyone's been saying. I love that you guys are chatting. This is the most active chat I've seen in a while. So props to you guys. Yeah, Betsy, your husband does do a lot, and that's very sweet of him for somebody who's not like super obsessed with it. What? I'm not gonna fight JH Aquatics. I like JH Aquatics. Whee! Okay, so the other thing that happened, so you know how I was trying to get my killifish to breed? I took their pH down to nothing. I took it down to like 4.5. I did water changes. I looked up what minerals were in the water where they're from in Sierra Leone, where they live in the tracks of elephant footprints, and I'm not kidding. And they also live in like little mud puddles and stuff. But these little clown killies, I throw them back down here when I empty out that tank. What happens? I have a bunch of baby clown killies hatch like 2 weeks later. So cool, but really hard to tell which ones are the Endler babies and the clown killie babies. I think what I might do here is bring that other Endler down to this tank, because it seems like these females are having more babies than the ones upstairs. And the ones upstairs, if they're not pregnant by him by now, then yeah, I'd like some stargrass too. I love it when people send me stuff. Duh, it's free stuff. But yeah, no, I really like that too. Stargrass is one that I'd like to get a hold of more of. I don't have any good source of it right now. Also, in here, we've got our jade green shrimp that are incredible. If I can get the color to show, these guys are from uh, aquaticarts.com. And if you use the code SECRETSHRIMP10, all caps, no space, 10 as in 10, you will get 10% off, which is basically their shipping. Oh, there you go. You saw it. It's hard to get this camera to get the right color. But, I'm getting trolled by Waterbox here. Waterbox, I like you. Why are you being mean to me, man? Your name is so long, it's taking up all my character limit just to talk to you. Yeah, maybe I don't want you talking to me, Waterbox. How about that, huh? You need to make some of us mods to keep things clean. Yeah, Betsy's supposed to be a mod. I don't get mods because I am not monetized yet, and they have reset things. I qualified for monetization in February, and actually, there is an echo. Let's see what's going on. Do you still hear an echo? Let me try to move. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to have Betsy be my mod, and that was back in February when I needed a mod, and a little bit after that, in my head I was like, I want Betsy to do that. Um, oh, really? Are you monetized, Waterbox? Because right now I'm in this weird state of limbo where like half of my features I can't ask for help. It's just like a robot that has like auto format. If you ask for help, it's just like, this might help you. And also, I can't change any settings on a bunch of things. It's like, this is for people with over 1,000 followers. And I'm like, you know, I've been ready since February, and they haven't gone in to approve my monetization. And then they just keep sending me things saying, "Hey, we have a backlog. It'll be the end of this month." So now it's gonna be June, and it's been since February. And it's same with like super chats now, I think, are also affected. Secret history. I am, but you can mod people. You just can't do it now because you're on the phone. Do it on a PC. I'll show you where. Oh, okay. That's interesting. I'll try that. I've tried it once before, and it didn't, like, I saw where I could do it, but it was like a light gray color. And when I hit the little info button, it was like, you need to have X amount of hours and blah, 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 and be appropriate. And I was like, what? So, you cannot right click on people, make them mods? No. So like that, and I'm trying to think what else. Like my affiliate links have been acting weird, and I went and looked at other people's, and they're able to do it no problem, even if they haven't reached the monetization point, which I have for months now. And it's not that I want you guys to watch a bunch of ads, but they don't put videos up as trending nearly as frequently, or show things off. Um, when you're not monetized because you're not making money for the company. So I stream on my phone usually. Yeah, I need to get a better camera. They don't like knowledge. Yeah, that might be true, nerd boy. Um, so yeah, that's, I don't know, one funky thing. Here's, speaking of Bentley earlier, here's the cribs that are just chilling. We got a big old pleco in here. I don't know how he curls up in there, but he's 6 inches long, and he's living in this little coconut. Lives in a pineapple down by the sea. Here's his wife. Oh, well, there's his wife. She's purty. I want to get some longfin green dragons, and Alyssa Bentley, not Bentley, but Alyssa Bentley is hopefully hooking me up with some. But as I said, I am getting the and guys, I want your opinion. So I could get 3, I think it's 3 right now, wood cats. They've never been bred successfully. James Hookock, welcome. Mad Fish Diva, hello. Buried females, cool. Yes, lots of buried females in my tank. I've got buried green, 3 buried blues, 3 buried cherries, and 1 yellow that just gave birth. Plus maybe one of the crystal red line might be buried. It's hard to tell with them. I'm still learning with the crystals, breeding them anyways. I've kept them successfully. Um, but yeah, they're very berry tanks. Plus my coal tank of like you didn't make the cut. Sorry. Over here, like a lot of these are buried too, but they're gonna be like probably natural color like these guys because they're just random mixes of whatever, and we'll see what happens. Sometimes those mix back together and make really interesting uh, dealios. Also, snails going wild in here. So I think the temperature's gotten warmer outside too, and I don't know what's going on, but the snails have gone. I have yellow caradinas for sale. Oh yeah, JH? Will you swim them to me if I buy them? Yellow caradinas, yeah, the yellow caradinas are awesome. I've got yellow neo caradina that are just beautiful. The bolts that I've got are pretty cool, but there's the baby yellow ones, if you can see it. So basically, I just wanted to talk that. So now let's talk why I think that's my wife's name. She owns me. Um, why and everybody's like clean up the mess. This is actually free bags, and we've had it on my wife's like on this blog for neighborhood stuff. We have 50 bags that are like grocery bags since you have to pay for your bags at the store in Seattle. Like plastic's illegal. Like you can't use plastic bags anymore. And my wife is in a grocery industry and I used to be also. So if anybody lives around me and needs reusable bags, we literally have 57 that we decided not to keep. Okay, back to the mess. I need to clean, seriously. So today I think I'm also going to be doing hydrocotyle planted in here, this same stuff. I think I'm going to make the path out of that. Or I do have some sand, so I could make the path out of sand, but I kind of want to do that. Also, there's the hybrid right there. So this one is part CPD, part, well, now he's totally hidden. But you can see the other ones are much smaller, stronger stripes, and they don't have spots. So yes, they do hybridize, but I don't know if those babies will have babies. So over here, I was getting stuff ready. Earlier, I got some new pink flamingo crypts, which were really pretty, but now they're not looking so pretty 3 days in. But so yeah, I'm gonna plant all of this stuff. I've been doing some planting, and also the Ninja Woodcats. So I'm getting a killer deal on them as far as I know. Like I could probably get them cheaper somewhere, but I can get them for $20 a piece, and I'm debating if I want to try one and see if I kill it because I've never kept them and they're a little bit interesting. And then I don't know. So I'm a little worried about that, but I'm also really excited. He has up to 3. We can't sex them. Nobody has been known to breed them in captivity that's been written about that we can find. And I'm interested to see what happens. They're super cute. They look like mini orcas. I don't know what tank I would put it in. They're totally nocturnal, so I would need to use my insomnia powers to for goods for the use of good and not evil. And yeah, but the cribs in here, the poultures are really colored up. They've been mating. They've been spawning too. Some of their babies, when they hatch, got eaten. Also, there's some random, I don't even know how they survive, but leopard. Jeremy Bosch was breeding them. Really? I'll have to check that out because as far as I know that the honeycomb cats and the oil slick and oil spill cats, oh, Eric Bodrock, that makes sense. if anybody could breed them, it would be him. Maybe I'll try to email him or call him because I could totally see him successfully doing that. But I'm debating, like, do I want to buy all three? Do I get one and wait? What's the deal? But I feel like $60, like, to me, that's money. Like, I don't have a lot of money, but I don't know. We'll see. Mm, yeah, Bodrock. Does he do Oddball Aquatics? I can't remember if that's the name of his company. I can't keep straight who's who. Also, I'm working on a rough draft sketch for Lucas, and he wants one where he's like this enlightened, uh, yeah, oddball, yeah, um, enlightened fish keeper kind of thing. And so I have him sitting in like, you know, a meditative pose, and it'll be a little bit psychedelic, but it'll have like the whole him like levitating, carrying bags of fish and shrimp, and then like and ponds with maybe like koi and then rainbow fish, or I don't know. We'll figure it out. Maybe we'll do some forced perspective where like one's leaping. That's huge here, but yeah, we'll see. Should keep the three together. They were all yeah. He Sharon, I agree. Like we could do some other interesting, funky stuff with his image, but he's very particular because he's like, I don't want people to think that like I'm letting my shrimp out of the water and hurting them, and like he's a very thoughtful, sweet guy, and so he reads a lot into what people would think, so to speak, and wants to not come off in any harsh way, and I can respect that, but I have a little less class. So I'm seeing a male minnow in here, meteor minnow. Actually, that looks like two. And I'm thinking, actually, it looks like every single one that I threw in here were the males. So I think we should throw a couple more back over into that tank so they can breed. They breed like crazy. You don't need to do anything to make them breed other than put them together. Um, Also, I was trying to think, oh, why I think there's more, finally going to get to it right at the end, right? So, why I think there are more men into fish keeping than women. And wow, I can't believe I caught that. Good job, me. Um, I think that men, I was reading the book, what's it called? The Dragon Behind the Glass, which is about people keeping. Hey, Cecilia's Hobbies, welcome. Check out Cecilia's channel, you guys, if you haven't yet. Um, Anybody else with the channel, throw it up there right now. If like, throw up your link. I know Waterbox, his editing is so much better than mine. Like, you should probably be watching him and JH Aquatics videos instead of me rambling. Um, their editing is on point. And they're both very kind and knowledgeable dudes, as far as I know. I mean, they might be eating baby shrimp, like, secretly every night in mean ways. But, so I think that, is pointed out in The Dragon Behind the Glass, they are, there's this machismo of um, controlling nature, and men overwhelmingly uh, keep stuff like tigers and arowanas and fighting fish for fighting reasons and things like that. And so basically, um, I think something about that, like maybe we don't all feel control over our own lives, and you don't. It's not so controlled, I don't know. It's not cause effect, like boom, I did this and then this, but it is kind of like I did this and then slowly this unfolded, and then over time I see this. So I think that maybe men are a little more of like when they can't control stuff, they don't know how to express themselves, and when they're afraid or stressed or lonely or whatever, it's something control and nurture. And in our society, it's not cool as a guy to be nurturers. It's getting more that way, I guess, like with kids and stuff. But I mean, you got to remember that even 20 or 30 years ago, like saying I love you to your kids was like weird if you were a dad. Like it was wait until dad gets home. Not that there weren't really terrible, stereotypes and role model, like bad role model things for women. Obviously, they were also just terrible in the 50s, 60s, up through the 70s. And obviously, still today, there's still things going on like that. But I do think that men have not had the outlet to do that. Also, I think men, it's there's something primal, and whether it's societal that like men are supposed to be starting fire and hunting and blah blah blah. By the way, I just caught another fish, and so I'm just putting it. They're really pretty. Let me flip this around. I've never had meteor minnows that look this good. Um, yes, men do tend to have more hobbies that have to do with fine motor skills and attention to detail. It's just something about the brain, the way it grows and adapts. And also, I think a lot of young men, a happy time in their life is like, oh, it's totally manly and cool to go fishing with your dad. Nobody has any problems with that. Um, and I think that bringing it into the house is also like rekindling maybe like that societal, like you're the provider or you're controlling the things that give life slash food. So there's like a god complex to it, but I think that can affect women too. But that's just kind of my theory is that guys are not supposed to express their like emotional caring side unless it's like their own kid. Like if you're a guy and you go to the mall and there's a missing or a kid who can't find his parents, like I had this happen. This kid who was like a little girl, she was like, um, probably like 6. She was running through the food court and crying, and she's like, "I want my mommy, I want my mommy." And I was like, "Oh, honey, I'm sorry. Like, do you know what your mommy's wearing? Do you know what she like where she was?" Like, I started talking to her, and somebody was like, "Is that your child?" Because I had a beard and tie dye or whatever on. And clearly, I was like, I don't know, 22 or 3 at the time. This is like 10 years ago or something. But I just remember thinking like, oh yeah, I need to remember my role in society. I cannot be seen like giving a little kid a hug in public. Like everyone goes straight to like Michael Jackson scariness. And so I think just like that, like guys are supposed to hide their feelings of like sadness unless they're emo. Hold on, let me set this down for a sec. I'm gonna keep talking to you guys, but I gotta fix a light and I don't want to drop it in the tank. But I don't know. That's just my theory is that it's a way to show emotion and caring, as well as like guys like history and records and reports and like a lot of times women too, but men, both of us have, in tribal groups, this like wanting to hold information and master it and then pass it on. And so I think women that I tend to know have been, and not across the board, obviously. These are all stereotypes, but I think women have tended to be more interested in like the beauty of the fish and the like. This is a really pretty betta or mystery snails, whereas the guys are like, I want to see if I can make it breed. I don't get to have babies, and there's this secret repressed urge for like creating something. And I think that's why guys create things like out of wood and out of paint and whatever. Is I think that there is an urge to bring, like, we need to bring something into the world, like from scraps of something that was seen as lesser and build it up into something more complex or skilled or useful. And I think that maybe I'm reading way too much into that, but I really think that guys for a long time, especially in Western society, you're supposed to be kind and everything, but you're not supposed to be quote unquote like a wimp or um, I don't know. And I think a lot of that's changing, and so I think other things will change with that as well. But I do want to say that on my channel, this is interesting. So on my channel, 94% of viewers have identified themselves as male. Um, Sharon, I agree. There's lots of stereotyping and stuff. Um, I agree that I could be off. I'm just throwing out speculative ideas. Yes, and I agree, Debbie. Men, by far, like statistically, you can see um, men are wimps, anyways. Don't believe me? Watch a man be sick. Yeah. It's portrayed, but women and men are into it. I know, but if you look at sales, men make up 85% of fish sales, which is way out. That's not even within any sort of margin of error. It's overwhelmingly a men's hobby. Now, I know a lot of women that are um, more into it than men that I know and are way better at it, better at it than men I know. Sorry, I'm about to sneeze, so I'm gonna do something weird. It's like a neti pot, but I just do it with my hands. Um, I need a tissue. Um, so yeah, I think I've still got a sneeze. The pollen is awful right now. Oh my god. We did not need to hear or see that. I'm sorry, it's live. I've been talking for an hour and 15 minutes. I have needs too, Betsy. I'm real. I'm real, okay? Lil Fish is showing the real side. Yeah, I think that's also true, Cecilia. She said a lot of women say they would do it if they had more time. Women, especially like if they have kids and stuff. In our society, I know guys are getting better at taking care of kids and being a part of that, but I agree. Like women still have to fulfill the role of like the cool, like I'm contemporary role and the I'm gonna cook dinner role and the I'm gonna work a job role a lot of times and women work sorry guys women work harder than guys in a lot of ways and so less time to do a hobby that requires so much dedication plus like maybe they already have kids or already have other people including like whiny husbands that are like I'm sick take care of me um, that eat up their time as far as caring and stuff like whereas you don't get I'm sorry you don't get love uh, Waterbox says I'm subscribed to tons of women's channels and I watch them more than yeah no I agree I think that the women who are into the hobby awesome cool I don't think it says anything about you either way necessarily I think there's a lot of reasons people are into the hobby and I think that it's harder for women to do anything in our society. It's getting better, it seems like, but I mean, oh, female comedians aren't funny. Like, how many times have I heard that? And like, there's like either education and knowledge um, in YouTube, or there's entertainment as funny or witty. And so there's a lot of ways that it comes at it that YouTube, like, you got awesome people like Rachel O'Leary and, Solid Gold and Cecilia and Heather and Emma. Like, there's a lot of people on YouTube that make great videos that are females. Don't have anything to say about that. Try being handicapped in a woman. It's a blast, Betsy said. Yeah, no, I know. And not that I'm like severely handicapped, woe is me, but I have a really hard time getting around sometimes with the lupus and the severe allergies and all that stuff too. And I'm a white male. I have like a lot of privilege. Like I won't go into it. I know that gets political right now. If you want to talk personally, I have a lot of strong feelings about how privileged I am. And it's not that anybody necessarily did something for me. Like, oh, I earned that. I earned the minimum wage that I make or whatever. But it's the fact that things aren't stacked against me. So nobody's handing me something necessarily, but nobody's kicking me while I'm down if I happen to fall down. I got in trouble for drugs when I was a teenager. Uh, Other kids who got in trouble whose parents didn't come out and didn't come out and support them. Mine were real pissed off, but they showed up to the hearing, and just the fact that they did that, they're like, "Oh, he has a home to go to. Don't worry about him. Give him a thousand. I got 1,000 hours of community service when I was 14 or 15." Um, Waterbox says, "Oh, I forgot. You're a white male, so yeah, you can't talk these things, and you're racist." I'm just saying. Yeah, I am racist. I think a lot of people are racist. I don't try to be. I try to be open-minded and think like LGBTQ, races, cultures, whatever. I try to be open minded, but I have a stereotype when I see someone, especially white people, like white trash versus like rich white people versus hipster white people, whatever. I have lots of stereotypes, but I try not to um, impose that theory on everyone. But if I'm in a dark alley and somebody looks like a thug, whether that's a white person or a black person, like a white trash looking, like Slim Shady looking dude who looks like he's on meth, I'm going to be just as nervous and cautious as if I see some dude in a hoodie who's African American, or an Asian dude who's got gold chains on, and whatever. Like, it's a cultural thing for me more so than a race thing. But I'm sure there's stereotypes that I feed into. I mean, I'm feeding into the male female stuff right now. So many labels. Get rid of it and respect each other. It's so silly. It is. And like, I come from Seattle, which is liberal supposedly, but it's so white. It's Asian too. There's like 30% Asians in the town I grew up in, mostly Korean and Japanese. But it's so white out here that when you go to the South, um, ethnic groups or other places, they have to interact. Like a third of the city is Latino, a third of the city is black, a third of the city is white, whatever it may be. And that causes conflict because they actually come into, um, each other. I'm just reading. Yeah, and out here in Seattle, we're like 70% white or something. And so it's really easy to be like, oh, we love everyone. And the truth is, like, you love everyone when they fit somewhere into your, like, agenda, but you don't love any right wing people. Like, our heads explode if there's, like, a right wing um, African American in Seattle. We're just like, what? Why? So yeah, Seattle's this weird bubble of super liberal stuff. I am uh, tend to be liberal, but let's go back to gender because I'm not liberal on everything. Oh, can I see some neon green Kubota raspberries? Yeah, you can. Let's do that. Um, let's see here. Are they Kubota or Kobatai? I've heard both, and I'm pretty sure it's Kubota. But yeah, look at that beautiful green. There's a lot of green reflection going on in this tank, but you can see just how crazy green these ones are. Um, they're really beautiful. They color up more in the middle of the day, so right now they're at their full splendor. Uh, I really like keeping a log of what color, like how vivid I interpret the fish are at different times of the day. And it really changes. Like when you first turn on the lights, fish are really dull and they don't bother with color, but as the day goes on, they get more colorful. Also, the like this guy, he's coloring up since we last saw him. Where'd he go? Sorry, now I'm hiccuping. Focus. Live streams are so hard to focus. Oh, the pink flamingo crypt right here. This is what it looks like. This isn't the best light. I took pictures of it when I was working on it. Um, yeah. So it's kind of cool. I mean, it's turning colors though. My blue ghost brownie boost though is looking beautiful. The leaves are like blue, like a metallic blue metal. Like looks like gasoline was spilled on them. And then they look green from another angle. So that one, I'm really stoked on that one. This super red tiger lily, I'm stoked on. Uh, I took a picture of one of the crypts. So everything, pretty much everything in this tank was not bought in like a large plant. It was bought as tissue cultures. So that's that. And also I want to show you, look at this tank. Everything's tissue cultures in this tank except for the lily. Um, oh, well, thanks. I mean, I had them better, Aquascape. Go back and look at other videos of like a month to 2 months ago. But I've had to move things around so much because I've been breeding slash selling plants a lot. And right now, actually, the yellow shrimp in here, who are from Alyssa Bentley, I traded her some endlers for some shrimp, are doing well. They're coloring up better. Also, here's the other clipping of, or no, right here, of the brownie ghost. It's starting to grow well. This is another one. This one was called a skeleton or something. And yeah, it's got like blue iridescence on the veins, which is kind of cool. So right now this looks not so good because, like as I said earlier, I'm growing all these things out like the Ludwigia X lacustris and Ludwigia arculata, super red temple plant, crimson temple plant, mermaid weed. What else is in here? Yeah, so I'm growing a lot of this stuff and it's getting cut. And you can see here, like it branches off there. And so then again, I'll cut it here. And so there'll be a split there and a split there. And then we'll get denser and denser. But right now it's really keeping it short. And I wish I could show you like how big these plants, I mean, these plants were up this tall, like almost to the top, and they just cut them all back. So that's just kind of how people get scared to cut their plants, and you shouldn't. They'll grow back if you have any minor skill. Like here is a Pogostemon erectus, and you can see 1, 2, 3, 4, and then there's a fifth little stem, and that's just all the way I trimmed it. Now I could cut it lower, but I kept it long because I wanted to give it space to grow out in there. But that allows one plant to suck a lot of nitrates and nutrients out of the water and then get bigger up here, and then I'll trim it and stuff. But this tank, I've kind of been running the CO2 like 6 hours on it, and I'll run it 6 to 8 hours on here with the light on 10 hours, but on like a medium light, and then a color changing like red, purple, blue with actual white light LED. And then this is a full spectrum LED. And then what I do is all that stuff that I cut, that's what's in here. And I need to turn this CO2 off. This is rare. I'm trying this now. And I don't think I'm going to continue with it. But what I did, so I took all those clippings, and you can see the same types of plants are now in this tank, which is overloaded with fish. And I need to scrape it again. See, the CO2 is causing really bad algae growth. This is 2 days of algae growth. And so I don't want to throw everything off in here, and this lily is monstrous. It's gonna be as big as my hand. Um, but also nausea, the guppy grass is insane. With the CO2, it has gone insane. So I think I opened up a beast by putting some CO2 into this tank, and I don't want to throw everything too far off. But I swear you can watch this tank growing. All right, let me look at a couple comments real quick. So the Kubitai, they're beautiful, which are my little bunch, act like a bunch of rowdy teenagers. Anybody else see this behavior? Mine were doing that, but then the gold ring danios, I put those in, and now they stay in their place. What is the TDS in the bow front? Actually, you know what? I haven't taken it in a little while. It was like 350, which is a lot because my tap water is really low. But let's go get those instruments and take a look. I just did test the nitrates and nitrites last night, and the ammonia is 0. My guess is it's closer to like zero point 0.1 or 0.0175 or something. But let's get a pH and a TDS meter, and we'll take a look. My tap water, when left alone, like just normal aquarium stuff, no fertilizers added, seems to hover around 150, something like that. Tap water itself is 28, but just the nature of whatever's in the water with plants and rocks brings it up. Okay, let's see, what did I miss here? Growth potential to show or more men buying fish than women. Yeah, well, I'm just saying, on YouTube it shows you that 80% of who's watching fish videos is men, but the women who are watch 5 times more than the average men who are watching, which is interesting. So I think women can get into it, and they get into it more, and in many cases when I meet them, they know way more than a lot of guys I know. Not to compare them, like it's a gender thing right off the bat, but they're very into it. And I know men like that too, but I think that the women that do get into it tend to get really good at it and really into it. So I don't know. As a generalization, obviously. All right, so I've got my little pH thermometer in here. So I'm just curious for JH what's going to go down. So the pH in here, it looks like, wow, it's actually lower than I thought it would be, because this rock has, that's rad, Debbie. That's the way to do it. So it's 7.0, or yeah, 6.9, 7.0. So it's 2 lower than that. This thing's a little out of calibration. I need to recalibrate it, order the right chemicals for that. Let's check out the TDS. And right now the temperature's about 77 degrees in here. I usually keep this tank at 78 or 79. And it's running at 263 for the TDS. So that's actually lower than normal. So the plants are sucking up the nutrients, but I add iron, and then I also add Easy Green, this stuff. And then the rocks, I'll have to do videos on what rocks I add for what, but I add rocks that are slow releases of carbonate and iron and calcium and those things, rather than just using chemicals. So let's look over in this tank. So here you can see in a higher tech tank, 113. So that's like, this tank I could put a crystal shrimp in or something. And that's with all this stuff floating around and stuff. Let's see here real quick what was being said. I feel like if you can keep the TDS under 150, you will not have algae. Yeah, I think that's somewhat true. It depends what your TDS is. If all your TDS was carbon, then you'd probably be okay without it. Or I mean with it being higher. But if it's all like nutrients, then yeah, you're in trouble. So here, this tank, which is an older tank, 226. So it runs, I mean, a lot of people's tap water is coming out at like 400 in the US, other places. So my tanks are all pretty low. I mean, that's probably the highest one. So they're pretty low. Um, how long you put iron in the tank? I usually put a cap into this tank every 2 weeks or something like that. I have not really looked at anything other than I use my Java ferns as an indicator species for that. When they start to get yellow, I know they need potassium or manganese. And just for me, I just happen to know this for me. It's not always true with everyone. And then when they start to die this way, that's either too much iron or no iron at all a lot of times. And so for me, I know that at that point the iron dropped off because I did a bunch of water changes. And so I kicked the iron back up, and now the plant's back to healthy. That and putting a power head in helped too. Whoops. Let's try to release. Actually, I don't really want this stick so close to that lily. Come on. There we go. Oh no, it's going down, guys. And the lily is snagged on. This lily is just like, I will never let go, Jack. Bob Kaler, thank you for joining. You're a trooper, and you're always commenting in there. I really, thank you guys so much. Like anything I say, it's not necessarily steadfast. I was bringing up the boys and girls, boys versus girls in the fish tank thing just as like an oddity of my YouTube. And so then I went and decided to look up other YouTubes and found that no, like the people watching the videos overwhelmingly are men. And the hours watched almost evens out because women watch more time. Just interesting. I've turned all my tanks down as far as what was I gonna say? And since I moved my CO2 around and stuff, I like to do, this is an easy trick for you guys, is I like to take them and, can I put citrus leaves in my tank? I can't find info on them. I don't know about that one, but I wouldn't do it like until you know about that one. I'm sure you can, but you probably want them to dry naturally and make sure like they're really void of any acidic stuff because yeah. I always wash my hands when I'm in the fish tank, just not even with soap, but just rinse it off a little bit. There are brain-eating parameciums and critters that can, in theory, live in warm water that's stagnant, but hopefully that's more of a 1 in a billion chance. But I wash my hands because also with my allergies and lupus, I get breaks in the skin in the form of hives, and so I worry about that. But yeah, so let's see if anything else is being said. No citrus leaves. I believe JH, he lives surrounded by citrus leaves, so listen to him. Mulberry leaves, maple leaves, oak leaves. Let's see what else are good leaves. Yeah, those are good leaves. Almond leaves, so the catappa leaf, which is the almond leaf. Yeah. Stick with banana leaves I know are okay. Most of the broadleaf plants are okay. Yeah, so I'm gonna focus on this. I work with mango, almond, papaya, guava. There you go, JH. Listen to JH, man. He's a smart dude. I'm going to divulge a secret to those of y'all who stayed and are hanging out this long tonight. So, when I was making that tank downstairs that looks like a train wreck right now, but it'll function, so that's what's important. I'll learn how to make it. pretty later. I'm gonna make it functional now. I don't know if you guys have ever used the stuff that comes in those seal your own tank Aqueon tank kit things, the silicone, but it has acetylsilic acid, I believe, is the type that's in it, which is vinegar, or at least it's 5 to 9% of vinegar. It's what gives vinegar its smell, and that smell is so intense when you use it to put together a tank or reseal a tank. And it's really intense. And so I wanted to confess to you guys that when I was making this, whoa, what the heck? When I was making it, really, come on now. I don't understand what's happening. Stay, good dog. Sit, Ubu, sit. So yeah, this smell of vinegar when you're doing this is so intense. And so I had this tank on its side, and I was gluing it. This side came out much smoother. I haven't cleaned this side up yet. But this Preppy Shrimp 02, welcome. This part of the cap, it was great for like 2 minutes, and then it dried because we had really high humidity. And temperature is like 65, and I looked up online, and that's like the worst possible temperature to be doing what I was doing. And yeah, so I glued along there, or sealed, and then these are knitting mesh, as I said before. There's nothing on the lip to glue to or secure it to, so I just stuck it in as straight as I could. I made a straight line, but this stuff is kind of flimsy, so then I propped it up with just random frames and things and walked away. The bead was not good on this side because by that point the thing was starting to get clogged and go. By the time I got over here, you can see what a S show it was. But it's still in there pretty good, so it'll work out for my breeding chamber. It's really just for that. It's just for breeding. But I had it flipped on its side, and because of that, the smell was all kind of trapped under it, and it smelled like, I was like, oh, this stuff isn't as bad as I remembered. I worked with it before, but usually I'll just buy myself a tank on my own, but lately I've been trying to be more conscientious with my money, and so I'm like, I'll figure out how to do it myself. And so I went and got stuff, bought it, and it smells so strong. I don't know why they made it black. I mean, I guess it's so you can see it, but why would you do that when you can make it clear? Just a saying. Or make it like that Elmer's glue that like 2-year-olds can play with and eat, that is purple and then it oxidizes and then it turns clear. Do that. But when I flipped this tank over, it actually smelled so strong that I took one breath, kind of accidentally, just like breathed in as I was doing it, not thinking about it at all, and it almost knocked me out. They are reasonably priced and movable. You should check out Life with Pets dividers. I will check that out, thanks. So I had the idea, and maybe this already exists, maybe this is what you're talking about, but I wanted to invent, yeah, I could have gone to Home Depot or something like that, but it's not near my house. There's like nothing like that right near my house, and I was a little lazy. I would have had to driven through rush hour traffic when I wanted to do it, and of course I'm not going to wait to do it. I'm such an impulsive person. And so I went and got it, and I just happened to need some frozen food and stuff too, so while I was there I grabbed the silicone. And it happened to be not far from the craft store on my way home either, so ta-da. Let's see here, what did I miss? Black caulk for the knockout. I'm gonna get banned from YouTube for that one, Betsy. Thanks. The water box, I hear you. If the pH and TDS are good, I don't do water change. Plants really help a lot. Yeah, you can kind of forgo that stuff a long time. Um, the other thing, oh yeah, so these are baby killifish in here, which is cool. So they have bright blue eyes, and then there's baby, there's also baby, blah 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 blah. Those endlers. Sorry, I'm getting tired, you guys. But yeah, I'm just hoping that soon the Caridina shrimp are gonna start making babies for me. Really, I want the Babalti shrimp to start making babies, but they're hard to even find. Like, here's one right here, and right now it's bright green, but they'll turn orange at feeding time, which is kind of cool. I'll try to get better stuff on that. But I put too many hiding spots. Like this tank is looking ragged because I spilled water on the front again. But it, you can see all there's a lot of shrimp in there and they're happy. So, also in the description, I have linked if you need shrimp, aquaticarts.com. They're great. They have tons of nano fish and stuff too. And the price looks really high at first, and then you look at it and you're like, oh, that's for 10 of them. They only sell groups of 6 or 5 or 10 or whatever. And so all of a sudden it goes from like, what the heck? I'm not paying that to, well, that's not bad. And you get 10% off if you use the code SecretShrimp10. And it helps my channel in that I'm not a monetized channel and I don't have anybody paying me or anything. Other than Patreon. Thank you guys on Patreon. That's super nice and helpful and helps me feed my fishies and my shrimpies. But that money seriously makes a difference with utilities and stuff. In the city, it's pretty expensive in Seattle right now. Like, utilities for this rack alone have made the bill go up quite a bit. So yeah. Debbie Clayton, I do it 1.5 to every 2 weeks. Yeah, we're talking about water changes in the chat and how you don't really need to do them. Caridina, so they drop their shrimplets before they need to, or molt. Consistent temperature is the most important, says JH Aquatics. Yeah, I don't know. Everybody says like TDS, nitrates, or pH, or whatever. But basically, I do like water top-offs because it evaporates at a pretty quick rate in this room even. Like you can see right now. I filled these up 4 days ago and they're already that low. But I kind of just keep an eye on the pH and just see what's going on. As long as no shrimp are dying and babies are still being born, I don't really sweat it because shrimp are way more adaptable than people give it credit for. It's just you can't switch it up on the turn of a dime. You have to give them time. Like, the sudden shock is what hurts them. But I mean, in the wild, they have sometimes up to a 20 degree or at least 10 degree influx change of temperature overnight. Like going from a warm little tide pool to a colder under a rock spot or something. So that's just like, same with fish. You just kind of have to realize how in nature it would unfold. Alright guys, well, do we have any other questions? Did I miss why more men are into aquariums than women? You did, but we didn't solve anything. Basically, Waterbox just told me that I'm racist, and I am. Like, I really don't like Asians and that have aquarium channels. I'm so kidding. I love his channel so much, and he seems like a really nice guy. And side note, I might be going down to LA soon, and hopefully, like, my wife and I might be going down there in mid-June. And if that happens, I would really like to call you up and come crash the LA party. We discussed many factors Friday. Yeah, I'll let you know as soon as I know. I know that that's short notice, like it'll probably be less than a month. But my wife so we had a train hit a power pole outside of her work. Oh, baby shrimp. And the power pole hit her car, bashed it. Then we had that get fixed. It took 2 weeks. And we had she gets her car back. It was like $4,000 or $5,000 in damage. The city says it's an act of God. They don't want to cover it. Her insurance doesn't want to cover it. And then on the ride, the second day she has the car back, the ride to work, she gets rear-ended at 40 miles an hour. And she was at a complete stop. And got whiplash, a concussion, and some cuts. And thank God she's doing okay. She's still rattled. She doesn't really want to drive anymore. But it turned out that in the car, when they did the work from the power pole, somebody had been in a wreck before, and the airbags had gone off, and nobody repacked them. And in the bumper, the crumple zone, the metal part, had been thrown out. And so they all of a sudden had, when she got the work done, they fixed all that. And if it hadn't have been for that, can you imagine how bad a 40-mile-an-hour rear-end collision would have been? It would have been real bad. So, hold on. There's someone knocking at the door, and it might be my wife. I don't know why she'd be knocking at the door. Hi. Hello. Sorry, I'm doing a live cast. This is Mia. Say hi to Mia, everybody.
Hi.
What's up?
Where's Lara?
She's out with her friend, Anita.
Oh, that's interesting.
Are you supposed to be... Come on in. All right, guys. Well, apparently my wife has friends coming over. And can I use you as a total prop? This isn't my wife, dude. This is Mia.
Hi.
And she's Asian, so I'm not racist, Waterbox. Take that.
Take that, Waterbox.
That's right. Anything else you have to say? It's about fish. No, that's it. Okay. All right, guys. Well, I gotta go. Take care. I hope you're doing well. This guy was just calling me racist, and he's Asian. So. Oh. All right. Take care, you guys. I think I proved all my points, and she's a woman. So, yeah. Obviously, I have an Asian woman friend. I could not be sexist or racist. No way that's possible. No white privilege here at all. All right, guys, take it easy. Sorry for being a smartass this time. Video is probably demonetized after what we've been talking about anyways. But take care of yourselves. Take care of your fish. And I will talk to you later. Drop any questions later. I'm going to read off some really crazy questions. Someone asked if they could keep their 8-inch Oscar with a brand new Betta, a boyfriend and girlfriend that wanted to combine tanks as a romantic gesture. I'll just let you chew on that one. I don't want to call people stupid because I don't want them to not ask questions. But just think about that one. All right, guys, I'll talk to you later. Bye.